You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said himself, there's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have, again, is limited. And Senator Kennedy said, the answer is no one. And you said, for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that in all the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never
Patel?
said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're
inmates.
not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And you are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
The hearing erupted into chaos when Senator Adam Schiff confronted FBI Director Kash Patel over explosive allegations of political retaliation and the long-shrouded Jeffrey Epstein files. What began as a routine oversight session violently collapsed into a shocking high-stakes showdown. Once the loudest voice demanding the full release of every Epstein document, Patel now lashes out in fury, dodging the darkest questions with raw desperation. His behavior raises alarming doubts about whether powerful names are being shielded at the highest levels of government. The panic was unmistakable. Patel's fiery deflection only deepened suspicions that something critical remains hidden from the American people. Yet, this was only the beginning. The same pattern of calculated ambiguity emerged earlier when Senator Schiff pressed him relentlessly on whether he had orchestrated political purges inside the FBI itself. Stay with me. This gets far more explosive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, during your confirmation hearing, you made several important commitments. For instance, you told Senator Coons there will be no politicization at the FBI. There'll be no retributive actions taken by any FBI should I be confirmed as FBI director. So let me ask you very specifically, did you ever take any action to terminate or discipline an FBI agent or employee in whole or in part as retribution for being part of an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
No.
You also committed, you assured Senator Blumenthal, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. So you're testifying today that you played no role in the firing of even a single FBI agent for political retribution.
None for political retribution.
And if any FBI agent said you did, they would be lying. Is that your testimony?
I'm only speaking to my actions. Everybody is allowed to make their allegations.
Oh, no, these are allegations against you.
And
so, Mr. Patel, if FBI, senior FBI agents or employees said that you were firing them for political retribution reasons because of the cases they were assigned, you're saying they would be lying. Is that
anyone that was terminated at the FBI was done so for failing to meet the standards, uphold their constitutional oath, and effectuate the mission.
Well, by meet the standards, are you talking about meet the standards of protecting the president under any circumstance?
No.
You also guaranteed Senator Blumenthal that every FBI employee will be held to the same, absolute same standard. No one will be terminated for case assignments. Are you testifying today that you never terminated anyone at the FBI, in whole or in part, because of a prior case assignment?
No one at the FBI is terminated for case assignments alone.
Well, I'm asking about you, Mr. Patel. Did you, in whole or in part, terminate anyone at the FBI because they worked on the Trump investigation or because they worked on January 6th?
No one at the FBI has been terminated for case assignments alone.
Okay, you're saying alone. Does that mean they were terminated in part because they were assigned to a January 6th case or assigned to the Mar-a-Lago case? You're being very precise here, Mr. Patel. You're saying alone. That means they were fired in part because they were assigned those cases. Is that your testimony?
Absolutely not. But if you want to keep
Okay,
putting words
well,
in my mouth,
then
go
let me
ahead.
ask you, let's strip away the word alone. Did you terminate or participate in any discipline of any FBI employee in whole or in part because of their work on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th? Yes or no?
Any terminations at the FBI by employees?
No, I'm asking you a very specific
question. And I'm
question.
going to answer the question, but you don't like the answer because it's the
No,
truth
I
and it guts
want
your
an answer to my
narrative.
question. I don't want an answer to someone else's question. So let me just be precise, and I ask for a yes or no answer. Did you ever terminate or discipline an FBI employee in whole or in part because they had been assigned or worked on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
FBI
yes or no?
employees are only terminated
Yes
if
or
they
no,
fail
Mr.
to
Patel?
uphold their oaths of
Yes or
office
no?
and duty.
You're not
at the
answering my
FBI
question.
I
You're
don't
not
have to
answering my
answer your
question.
question yes or no because you're setting up a trap so you can have a
Oh,
media
no, I'm
narrative.
not setting up a trap.
And I'm not giving it to you.
Unless it's true that you fired people.
People
in
have
whole
been
or in part
terminated at
because
the
they-
FBI who fail to uphold
They were
the
assigned
standards
to.
that the FBI requires them to uphold.
Did you tell anyone at the FBI that all FBI employees who they identified who had worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
Say that I would remove people for case assignments?
That people that were identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
People are not removed
Just
for case
answer my question.
assignments.
Just answer my question. Did you tell that to
People
someone?
are not removed for case
No,
assignments.
you're not answering my question.
And I would
Mr.
never
Patel,
tell anyone.
Did you tell someone at the FBI that FBI employees identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Yes or no? Did you tell someone that?
I would never tell anyone at the FBI that they're being removed for basically their case assignments.
Okay, so anyone who had said that would be lying. Is that your testimony?
Anyone can say whatever they want.
No, I know, but you're saying they were a liar.
I'm telling you what I said.
Because this is in the complaint against you, Mr. Patel. So you're saying Mr. Driscoll and others are liars?
I'm not going to address the complaint in the ongoing
Okay, well then let me ask
litigation.
you, have you ever told anyone at the FBI that the FBI tried to put the president in jail and he hasn't forgotten it, and that your job depended on the removal of agents who worked on cases against the president?
No.
Did you ever tell anyone that?
No.
Okay. Did you ever tell anyone that you knew these summary firings you were undertaking were illegal, likely illegal, and that you would be sued and later deposed? Did you ever tell anyone that?
No firings at the FBI or terminations were done for anything other than justified
Did you ever
cause.
tell anyone that, Mr.
No,
Patel? Why don't you
no
answer my question?
terminations at the FBI were ever done in my tenure for anything other than failing
Did you
to
ever tell
uphold
anyone
their
that,
oath of
Mr. Patel? You willing to
office
answer
or
the
their-
question?
Throughout this portion of the hearing, Senator Adam Schiff repeatedly sought a clear yes or no answer from FBI Director Kash Patel. Time after time, Schiff returned to the same question, attempting to narrow the discussion to a direct response. Patel, however, consistently framed his answers around the Bureau's employment standards rather than giving the simple confirmation or denial Schiff was seeking. Schiff argued that this wording was significant. In particular, Patel's statement that no employee had been dismissed solely because of the cases they worked on became a central point of contention. Schiff suggested that the choice of the word solely implied case assignments may have been considered alongside other factors, while Patel maintained that personnel decisions were based on broader standards and not on any single assignment alone. The exchange underscored the contrasting interpretations each side brought to the hearing and set the stage for the next round of questioning.
In the collective, all of those statements are taken out of grotesque context. And anyone that thinks my 16 years of service isn't exemplary on how I would proceed if confirmed as FBI is intentionally putting false information into the public ether and creating more public discourse. The only thing that will matter if I'm confirmed as a director of the FBI is a de-weaponized, depoliticized system of law enforcement completely devoted to rigorous obedience of the Constitution and a singular standard of justice.
The discussion then shifted to another point when the name Driscoll entered the conversation. Schiff referenced a senior FBI official who had filed a formal complaint alleging that he was forced out because of his involvement in investigations related to Donald Trump and January 6th. Patel did not directly address the substance of those allegations. Instead, he said he would not comment on an active complaint and added that anyone is free to make whatever claims they choose. Schiff argued that the response left the central issue unresolved, suggesting it stopped short of either confirming or rejecting the allegations. He also pointed to Patel's earlier assurances during his confirmation process that the FBI would operate free from political influence or retaliation. From Schiff's perspective, Patel's refusal to give a direct answer raised broader questions about whether personnel decisions could have been influenced by the cases agents were assigned to. The exchange ultimately highlighted the sharp divide between Schiff's concerns about accountability and Patel's decision to avoid commenting on a pending personnel matter, leaving the issue open to continued public and congressional scrutiny.
No, I don't know how any of us can have that confidence for a number of reasons. One is, not only is Patel incompetent, but he is firing all the competent people. He's taking agents off of these important investigations, like sex trafficking, like counterterrorism, like malicious foreign interference. And what is he doing with them? He's putting them on immigration raids. So it's the diversion of resources, the incompetence at the very top, and the getting rid of people who are the true professionals. And I have to imagine morale at the Bureau is just at a all-time low, because how can you respect someone like Patel? My concluding comments to him after our back and forth is, you can take an internet troll and make him FBI director, but he's still not going to be anything more than an internet troll.
That exchange was only the beginning. Moments later, Senator Adam Schiff shifted the hearing to another subject that quickly became one of the day's most closely watched discussions: the FBI's handling of records related to Jeffrey Epstein. As Schiff's questions became more specific, Patel faced renewed scrutiny over the Bureau's role, its past statements, and the extent of its knowledge regarding the case. The conversation marked a significant turning point in the hearing and set the stage for another tense round of questioning.
So let me move on. Let me move on to the Epstein files. You said you're the most transparent FBI director in history, so I'm going to put you to the test. In 2024, you were asked by Glenn Beck about Epstein's Black Book. And you said, he asked, who has Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book? And you said, Black Book, FBI. And he said, but who? That is, I mean theirs. And you said, oh, that's under the direct control of the director of the FBI. That's what you said. Was that true, Mr. Patel?
I'll rely on you quoting it accurately. I did that a couple of years ago.
Was it true what you represented to Mr. Beck and the president's supporters out there, or were you lying? Was it true that the Black Book, Epstein's Black Book, was in the possession of the FBI director?
The Black Book was in the possession of the FBI.
Okay, so now that you're the FBI director, you have possession of the Black Book, right?
That index has been released.
So you have Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book?
What is known as Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book has been released by us.
And you released it. And let me follow up on Senator Kennedy's question, because he asked you, and I'll be very precise here. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said, himself, there's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have, again, is limited. And Senator Kennedy said, the answer is no one. And you said, for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that in all of the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
Did he traffic any young woman to someone other than himself? That was Mr. Kennedy's question, Senator Kennedy's question.
The information that 3 administrations have had access to have made determinations that there are no investigative leads that were credible to prosecute and investigate any others. I'm specifically stating
whether
we were
your testimony today.
You just read it, and I said it 10 minutes ago, so let the record reflect my testimony.
I just want to make sure there's no misunderstanding, because there are victims like Virginia Guifer who have testified otherwise, who have said otherwise, and you're telling the American people today that the Epstein list is a single name, and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're to believe?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying. And you can say whatever you want.
Let me ask you this. When Todd Blanche went to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, she said, but did I think these guys were coming for that? I really don't. If you met Epstein, there's no way that this cast of characters, of which it's extraordinary, and some are in your cabinet, who you value as your co-workers, and you know would be with him if he was a creep or because they wanted sexual favors. A man wants sexual favors, he will find out. They didn't have to come to Epstein for that. And the next question Todd Blanche, the president's former criminal defense lawyer, asked is not who in the cabinet, who are you referring to? His question is, so when's the last time you think you were with Mr. Epstein when he got a massage?
The hearing then turned to what Senator Adam Schiff characterized as two major inconsistencies, arguing that both deserved closer examination. First, Schiff referenced comments Kash Patel made in 2024 as a private citizen during a radio interview where Patel discussed Epstein's so-called black book and suggested it was under the control of the FBI director. During the hearing, however, Patel stopped short of confirming that he had personally reviewed or possessed the material, stating only that it had been in the FBI's possession. Schiff argued that this response appeared more limited than Patel's earlier public statements and questioned why the level of certainty had changed. Schiff then shifted to a second issue involving the reported interview of Ghislaine Maxwell by Todd Blanche. Referring to the interview transcript, Schiff noted that Maxwell reportedly mentioned other individuals she claimed were connected to Epstein. Schiff argued that instead of exploring those references in greater detail, the questioning moved to other subjects. He pointed to that transition as an example of what he viewed as missed opportunities to pursue potentially significant lines of inquiry. The senator also revisited Patel's testimony regarding Epstein's trafficking activities. Schiff repeatedly sought clarification about whether Epstein had trafficked anyone in connection with others. Patel's responses focused on what he described as the information currently available to investigators, while avoiding broader conclusions beyond the existing record. Schiff contrasted those answers with testimony previously given under oath by Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre, arguing that the hearing highlighted unresolved questions that continue to draw public attention. The exchange reflected the broader disagreement between Schiff and Patel over how existing evidence should be interpreted and whether additional information remains to be uncovered.
I was trafficked to a lot of types of different men. I was trafficked to other billionaires. I was trafficked to politicians, professors, even royalty. So the circles that Jeffrey Epstein ran in weren't your typical setting of human trafficking, you know, and it was the elite of the world. It was the people who run the world. It was the most powerful people in the world, and those are our leaders. Those are the people that we are supposed to look up to. It's corrupt. It's corrupt to the core.
As the hearing continued, Senator Adam Schiff pressed Patel on whether the FBI had complete control over all records related to the Epstein investigation. Patel's responses remained cautious and narrowly framed, leading Schiff to argue that they lacked the clarity the public was expecting. Schiff also returned to the discussion surrounding Ghislaine Maxwell, noting that she had referenced a broader circle of influential individuals during her reported interview. Schiff questioned why that topic did not appear to receive more extensive follow-up during the questioning reflected in the transcript. Whether the explanation was legal caution, investigative procedure, or another factor remained a matter of debate. Nevertheless, the exchange underscored the broader issue at the center of the hearing, whether the commitment to full transparency would withstand close congressional scrutiny. As the hearing moved forward, the discussion shifted toward who else may have been referenced and what additional information, if any, could emerge.
So let me ask you, who are those cabinet members that Ghislaine Maxwell was referring to that were part of this cast of characters associated with Mr. Epstein? Who are they?
The Deputy Attorney General took the aggressive step that no one else did and interviewed Ms. Maxwell for
I'm
2
asking you,
days,
who are
and
the
we
ca-
released
who are
the
the cabinet
entirety
members?
of that
Who are the
transcript.
cabinet members?
I do not have that transcript in front of me. You're picking it piecemeal. The American public can read the entirety of that.
One last question, because you clearly won't tell us the cabinet members associated with Mr. Epstein. Let me ask you one last question. And that is, right after she gives this testimony in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it in
Prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds?
What I am doing is
most-
protecting
the
this country,
most- the
providing
most
historic
significant
reform,
witness-
and
the most
combating the
significant witness,
weaponization of
the
intelligence
Epstein
by the likes of you.
cover-up
And we have
gets
countlessly proven you to
from
be a
your
liar in
administration,
Russiagate, in
and you
January
call that
6th.
being
You are
in
the
the
biggest
weeds?
fraud to ever sit in the
This
United States
stinks to
Senate.
high
You are a
heaven.
disgrace to this
This stinks to high
institution
heaven.
and an utter
And
coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised
not
that you continue to
surprised
lie
that
from your perch and put on a show
view
so you can go
of
raise
you
money for your
and for good
charade.
reason.
You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of the California. We are bringing historic reform.
Point of
order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
You said
take
I'm the
control
most
of this
transparent
situation.
FBI director in history.
Take control of this
33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
The hearing concluded with another tense exchange as Senator Adam Schiff focused on the timeline surrounding Ghislaine Maxwell. Schiff noted that Maxwell met with the Deputy Attorney General over 2 days and was later transferred to a minimum security federal facility. He questioned who authorized the transfer and what factors influenced that decision. Patel responded that the matter fell under the authority of the Bureau of Prisons. When Schiff pressed further on whether the timing of the transfer was connected to the interviews, Patel rejected the premise of the question, and the exchange became increasingly confrontational, with both men trading sharp criticism. For Schiff, the moment reflected what he argued was a recurring pattern throughout the hearing. He pointed to Patel's responses on personnel decisions, questions about Epstein-related records, and inquiries into investigative procedures, arguing that many of the answers relied on narrow legal distinctions or limited the discussion to publicly available information rather than directly addressing the concerns being raised. Patel, on the other hand, maintained that his testimony reflected the facts available to him and declined to speculate beyond the official record. As the hearing drew to a close, Schiff argued that the public deserved greater transparency on issues involving politically sensitive investigations and the Epstein case. Patel continued to reject suggestions that the FBI was withholding information or acting for political reasons while defending the Bureau's handling of its responsibilities. Several questions raised during the hearing remain matters of public debate, including the extent of the FBI's knowledge, the handling of investigative materials, and the significance of Maxwell's reported statements. Publicly available records do not resolve every issue discussed during the exchange, and many of the claims remain contested. Ultimately, the hearing underscored the deep divide between lawmakers seeking additional answers and FBI leadership defending the Bureau's actions. Whether viewers see Patel's testimony as appropriately cautious or insufficiently direct will likely depend on their interpretation of the evidence and the hearing itself. If you found this breakdown informative, consider liking the video, subscribing for future coverage of congressional hearings and major political developments, and sharing your perspective in the comments below. Reviewing publicly available hearing transcripts and official documents can also provide additional context for the issues discussed.